All right, let's see Force Gaming.
A bit about Nightingale.
We love Force Gaming.
First announced at the Game Awards a little over 2 years.
If you guys like MMOs, and if you guys like indie survival crafts, especially, Force Gaming is one of the best YouTube content creators that talks about these things. And also, for anyone who's new in here, anytime I watch a YouTube creator, I always, especially if I know the creator, or like, you know, we watch their videos often or something. I usually, I tell you, you know, at the end to give it a like and a sub, and then I always link the video, because, you know, I'm making content out of it, and it's a really, really good thing to do. I think not enough YouTubers do that whenever they're like reacting to a video. But Force Gaming has made just banger videos for years. I've been watching Force Gaming for literal years. He never, I don't think he's ever made a bad video. So I'm excited.
It's been 2 years? Really? Jeez. Time flies. I've been keeping a pretty close eye on this one. Now, initially...
Wait, whoa! Was that like some bat thing with a head that just, the head flips back? That thing looks like a transformer.
Jeez. Time flies. I've been keeping a pretty close eye.
It has a human face and then a jaw. Oh my god. Okay. Nightingale needs to showcase more of these designs in their trailers, because this is really cool. Holy crap, that should have been the newest trailer, man. Oh my god. I'll give you a song, funny song, or another song. I don't know. You pick, Doc.
On this one. Now, initially, it was the unique art style and setting that grabbed my attention. But then, over time, after learning more about the type of game they were making, I started to get.
We're doing some just chatting right now.
So, Nightingale's described as a shared world multiplayer
we'll do a little bit
survival crafting game. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Although, in this particular instance, they've got a few things.
Force Gaming covers a lot of like the failures of gaming as well. So remember when the day before came out? It was a lot of him shit talking the day before, which is good for a couple of years. I only wish that I had covered the day before and started YouTube sooner, because you know we watched some of Force Gaming's videos about it. I did my own discussions about it. We went really in depth on it, and some all kinds of stuff. Yeah, he also has a great beard. I agree.
For one, it's
fellow bearded
Gaslamp
aficionado.
World, which, far as I can tell,
one might say a
Gaslamp
beard
Fantasy
enjoyer.
is some combination of Victorian with steampunk mixed with a bit of fairy tale and fantasy. Of course, it'll have all the fundamental systems that you expect from survival genre. You'll be exploring, gathering materials, base building, crafting items, tools, and weapons, all of which you'll use to make
base
better
building
stuff,
looks
take on
really
PvE
extensive,
threats with
and I love
variety
that.
Of enemies and bosses, while you equip yourself to adventure out into more dangerous, deadly, and rewarding areas. A few of the more unique features of Nightingale that really make it stand apart for me personally.
This is just some of the stuff we missed.
Realms, this never-ending series of locations with a variety of expected biomes. You'll see forests, swamps, deserts, jungles, and so on. Each with their own distinct visual appearance, unique points of interest, plant and animal life. There's NPC factions, and of course dangerous foes. So you'll travel between realms using portals, which take special.
So it looks like you do have your own world that you can transform, and you can teleport to other worlds. It looks like it's a little bit of both, actually.
Cards to activate, and then depending on the cards you unlock and use,
that's not true, Doc.
Certain parameters, including a realm's enemies, the biome, the type of weather, the day-night cycle, and even what resources are found there. It's sort of like spinning up world seeds with specific things that you might happen to want or need for your character.
A tree that's walking and has a tree on top. I love how weird this game is. Just the sheer weirdness is actually very unique. Man, I don't know why I'm so into that, but I'm so into that.
For your progression, for your base building, for whatever. Also, the setting and enemies are another big standout for me, as the world of Nightingale is inhabited by a wide range of Victorian folklore-inspired creatures. There's harpies,
hey, take care, Syke. You have a great night, buddy.
Giants,
pleasure to meet you. Hop in anytime.
Fae, and one predominant
We're on every night.
Known as
great
the
to meet you,
Bound.
buddy.
This is a group of rival humanoids that come in a variety of class types, like swarmers, casters, tanks, and archers. So
there's basically, it's not quite zombies, but they're kind of zombies. All right, I like this.
action will act as a constant threat throughout the course of playing the game and will even frequently attack your base in incursions which need to be defended against. Now, from what we've seen and
It also looks like they changed the numbers from this video is from 5 months ago. So they changed the numbers and they look a lot better now, which is very good.
heard, the basic loop of the game is going to be, you know, the starter stuff of gathering, crafting, and fighting, while you then go out and explore, trying to discover character upgrades and unlock new realm.
We were talking about how certain things looked a little jank in the previous video. I will say that the previous video is a market improvement from this, which is very good. That shows growth. So even 5 months ago to now, there's been a lot of growth. Bases can get destroyed like 7 days. Yes, definitely bases can get destroyed. And Rockies, buddy, so good to see you. How are you doing tonight? Welcome.
Cards,
We're showcasing
and
Nightingale.
using the cards you find, you open portals, progressing into new, deadlier, and more rewarding realms, and repeating the process of gathering, crafting, fighting, and getting upgrades at the higher tier, with the ultimate goal of being to try to end and eventually reach the city of Nightingale. There will be pinnacle content and challenges to work towards. Already, we've seen a variety of different...
Wait. Is the end game like actually getting into the giant steampunk city that got destroyed called Nightingale? Okay. All right. That's okay. I really hope that's like the end goal, because they just showed that, you know, small scene of like the city getting destroyed in the trailer, and you know, that just looked like a place I wanted to go. So I am glad that that is the end goal. It seems like that is the end game.
Boss fights that we can expect to engage with. We also know that they do have plans for challenging and repeatable end game content, although we're unsure of the specifics as of yet. And there will of course be unique and powerful gear along with character upgrades to discover. Base building plays a big role with a lot of variety, customization, and utility in both single or group built bases, as this game does have co-op as well. And lastly, yes, the game will have lore and story, although from what I've gathered, it's more of a backdrop and world building type of story. Not
I don't mind that.
That's the central
I do not mind that.
of the game, which frankly is the type of storytelling that I personally enjoy, especially in survival games and MMOs. I don't
it makes
need
more
hours and
sense.
hours of cinematics. Just give me an interesting world to explore with some bits of lore here and there, some cool characters.
There was airships in the previous scene, guys. Let's go back to that. There are definitely airships in this game. I don't know if we can pilot the airships or if they're just hanging around, but there's definitely airships.
Give me an interesting world to explore with some bits of lore here and there, some cool characters, and some cool mini stories. So that is Nightingale in a nutshell. Now, as I said at the top, though, it's been nearly 2 full years since this game was revealed, which I still can't believe. But also, it's been over a year since the last time
we've been following it
since
then.
On it here on the channel, and quite a lot has happened since then. Most notably, as time has gone on, development has continued, and we have learned a lot more about the game, about specific features and mechanics and things that they've added. They've also been releasing trailers and fairly frequent developer vlogs with updated gameplay, and also just sharing a lot about how development and testing is going. And I gotta
yeah, I didn't really like showcase a lot of these on stream because I didn't do YouTube at the time. But they've been pretty good. Like I have kept up with it.
Even from just last year, the game is looking significantly better today. A whole lot better than I remember it looking, which is
and a whole lot better from 5 months ago, which is this video.
I watched some of the more recent stuff and was like, this looks really good. It looks, again, much better than I happen to recall, and it has climbed its way to darn near the top of my list of like most anticipated games coming out in the next 6 to 12 months. I'm really looking forward to Nightingale.
One day.
Wanted to dive in
it's
and learn
coming
as
out
much new
one
stuff
day.
As I could about the game, and hey, if I'm doing that, might as well share it with you all, right? So let's do exactly that. We're going to take a look at all the new things that have been revealed since last year. Starting in November of 2022, this is when they released their very first developer update video. This one was focused on the earliest alpha testing, Unreal Engine 5 updates, as well as answering a few community questions. So at the start, they said they had just wrapped up the first...
This looks like another W for Unreal Engine 5. That's not bad. That is not bad. Wait, you're telling me that given some development time, a game improved? That's not what Skull and Bones does. Oh, no. Oh, no. You see, the thing is, this game is not made by Ubisoft. That is the issue.
round of closed alpha with about 100 people testing the early game experience, focused particularly on the survival mechanics and progression. With feedback from that test, they made the decision to streamline and simplify the crafting mechanics in order to make it more intuitive for newer players, which they would then be
apparently the original crafting was incredibly complicated and to the point that it was convoluted. So I saw some gameplay footage of that from some really small creators and stuff, the people that got into the alphas and such. I was a little worried about that. But they had improved that within like a couple of months. So the really other good thing is that these developers are listening to feedback and quickly and strongly changing the direction of things that people don't like. I really, really like that in an indie game dev. That is huge, especially for a game like this. Like, this is very, very big. Like, you compare it to like Ark. There's jank in Ark that when I first played Ark, it was 2018, I think, was the first time I played Ark. And I played it for like an entire summer, got completely immersed in it, blah, 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 loved it. But like there was some major issues. And we just started playing Ark Survival Ascended a couple months ago, right? Ark Survival Ascended still has those same issues, guys. They still didn't fix half that shit. Like, literally, half that shit is still busted. Oh my god.
Implementing into subsequent rounds of testing, of which there have since
generally more worried about the end game.
We also discussed having made the move to Unreal Engine 5, which was actually one of the reasons for
actually, that is one thing that they fixed, Wade. So Ark Survival Evolved, if you still play that, because they kind of like stopped development for that game, but and they kind of like forced people to rebuy it for Ark Survival Ascended, which is, you know, its own really big issue for that entire game and the developers. But Ark Survival Evolved is like straight up 100 gigabytes. However, Ark Survival Ascended, for some odd reason, is like half the size. It's still a big game, but it's not nearly as big, the game file size, as Ark Survival Evolved. I don't know why. It looks like they actually did a fair bit of optimization between making the two games. So that much they did do a little bit, but man, it is still jank as absolute hell. It is absolutely jank somehow.
Game's delay out of 2022. Yes, originally this was supposed to be coming out in late 2022. That obviously did not happen. Now, with Unreal Engine 5, they got all the expected host of visual and fidelity improvements, all thanks to Lumen and Nanite.
The other thing about Unreal Engine 5 that a lot of people don't talk about, and I just wanted to showcase, is that Unreal Engine 5 makes having a lot of entities on screen at the same time much better, which is why we were able to see in the most recent trailer, like... Oh my god, that was really loud. Sorry about that. Jump scare, guys. That made it a lot easier to have 6 players in the same realm, as well as like dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of enemies. So that is like one of the best parts of Unreal Engine 5, by the way. And Buggerstein, welcome. We love you. Thank you for the raid. There's a giveaway active. Join the giveaway, my friend. We're showcasing a brand new game called Nightingale. Welcome, welcome.
Continue to see more and more developers talking about just how great this engine is. Certainly, we are seeing the byproduct of that in a lot of the big boosts.
One of the downsides of Unreal Engine 5, and you'll see it, and Nightingale does have this issue, is that the particle effect for spells are really weird looking. Like, they're like a little bit too bright, and they kind of like, I don't know, they kind of look like a strobe light or in some ways, and I don't know why, but that's always been annoying for me in pretty much every Unreal 5 game. So that is a thing that this has, but you know, you take the good with bad. And it's just something I don't like as much.
Just games looking better thanks to UE5.
But the rest of it looks great.
Answering a few community questions from which we learned the following. Character progression in
Sean,
Nightingale is all about the items and gear-based. Apparently, we're not going to be expecting a lot of character development from things like skill trees or increased stats from leveling up or something like this. In order to make yourself stronger, you'll be crafting items and gear. Those items and gear will be using resources that you find from all around the realms. And that's something else that we know. A big part of the game is going to different realms in search of different specific...
Doc said with the light thing, with the particle effects, it's part of the way lighting works on a functional level in UE5. I don't understand that. Like I mean, I hear what you're saying, But like, why? Because like lighting in terms of the lumen effect with like sunlight cascading down. We've watched videos on Unreal 5 and like that looks really good. But the spell effects look very, very out of place, I think is the way to put it. And I don't know why, but it's like I don't know if it's the development part of it or what. You don't think you've heard of this game? Oh, I've been covering it for 2 years, Mad Raving. But I never really made the YouTube videos or anything about it because I didn't have YouTube at the time, so I do apologize. But yeah, we'll be playing this game in less than 24 hours.
Resources
I'm very
to
excited.
do this crafting and to make yourself stronger, letting you progress further. They also said that beyond enemy variety, difficulty will be increasing as you progress through the realms. The further you go, the harder things get. You get more challenging realms, you get better realm cards that unlock access to higher tiers, new enemies, new bosses, stuff like that. And then
You see what I mean about the spell effects, guys? It's things like this. Like this is the any game in Unreal Engine 5, the spell effect will look like this. And I don't know why there's so many sparks flying off. It kind of like hurts my eyes. It's such a nitpick, but it's just something I wanted to point out. And it's so weird because everything else looks so good in Unreal Engine 5. And it's just the spell effects that annoy the hell out of me. I don't know why. Yeah, he's already the dinosaur. Exactly, yeah.
cards that unlock access to higher tiers, new enemies, new
Silent
bosses,
Core,
stuff
welcome,
like
buddy.
that. And then finally, they revealed in this vlog that the building system in Nightingale is going to be blueprint based. So rather than placing down individual logs or blocks or whatever, you've got blueprints for the various sections.
This actually makes it much better for me. Like, maybe it takes away freedom, but I can tell you that when it's not blueprint based and it's like just block based, where you have to like change the size of the block, you got to move it around, blah blah blah. Like it gives you a lot more freedom. But man, my pea brain cannot design with a game like that. Like I'm just like, man, just make it simple for me. Straight up.
The walls, the doors, the roof, etc. This will include the expected variety of tile sets. So
I got you,
let's
Doc.
say you
Maybe
start
that's
with
why.
wood, and then you probably advance to stronger forms of wood, and then stone, and then metals, and so on. Outside of the buildings themselves, you're also going to be able to construct defensive structures, crafting benches, processing facilities. You know, the usual fare that you expect from a survival crafting game. The next developer update came in December, upon which time they had just finished the second alpha test with around 600 people in this one, testing out some of the improvements that were made to the early game. They also began testing.
Also, this alpha 2 looks so much better than the alpha 1. Holy smokes. Like just comparing the two. Wow. Like man, this is good. I love seeing the improvement in early access style games.
Co-op, which includes groups of up to 6 players. Not sure if that is the final cap, but that's at least what it was in this test. In this, they fixed some texture issues, some crashes. They added some quality of life improvements.
It looks like 6 is the
tree
max.
Stumps from trees you've chopped, and also re-equipping your hotbar whenever you get your inventory back from a death chest, which I guess is confirmation that when you die, you drop your stuff and then you have to go retrieve it. And then finally, they revealed that they would be adding fishing to the game. Not the most important feature, but a nice little bonus.
Any game with fishing is just automatically better. That's the rule. Any game. When fishing is added, it just goes up. That's it.
Thing. No complaints from me personally. Love to see it. Also in December, they released this brief trailer called the Realmwalker's Journey. This gave us a few glimpses of some never before seen stuff. In this, we saw some new monsters. We saw some examples of magic, crafting, building, and even that newly introduced fishing. We also saw this.
And now we know that the magic is kind of attached to your gear. So you can add different spells to your gear. Like that was the healing spell that he added to the hammer and stuff.
Was brand new to me. Gliding with umbrellas. Personally, love to see it.
I
much prefer it over straight up flying.
That's
that
so
lets you
cool.
Just go anywhere unrestricted. Gliding allows you to kind of play with the exploration.
Hello,
to go to a
JP.
height
Welcome.
before you can fall your way down. And then also climbing is going to be in the game as well. We saw a clip of someone climbing with these pickaxes, which we actually got a first-person gameplay peek at a little bit later here. Next up, we got a developer update in February, so they took a couple-month break and then returned here. They also happened to take a few months off of playtesting in that time to just focus on development, on adding new stuff, and on improving what's there. So in this time, they introduced tons of new foliage, resources, and creature variation, all aimed at fleshing fleshing out the world and making it more immersive. They also added
I
new
like
tile
that.
types for the base building system. They made some adjustments to gathering to try to make it feel more impactful.
Ooh, the way the leaves just like fade and fly away. That's cool. I like that. That's a nice little thing. And J Peach, awesome, my friend. I cannot wait to see your art.
Trying to balance the inputs with the animations and then the feedback that you get from that. And they announced that they would be having dedicated official servers, so you won't have to rely on a host in order to
It's
join
not
a server
peer-to-peer.
together. This
Thank
is great
God.
news, in my opinion. In a lot of games that don't have dedicated servers, if I'm playing with a friend and we're having a good time, but then they go offline and I want to keep on playing, just kind of screwed. You can't make any more progress on your base building, on your resource gathering. So it's nice to see that they will have official dedicated servers that just once created, stay up and running 24/7, or at least until there's any server downtime. These servers will also, they said, play into the realm cards, like making it always day or making hard mode. So apparently the realm card system is going to play a role in just
that's
the
cool.
overall
Always
server
day.
Settings. Now they did say that they
like
are
that's
planning
very
to have
optional.
private servers in the future, but it won't be there for early access launch. Also, they did make mention of modding being something that they're looking into. They would like to include, but this also won't be there for the early access release. So at early access, we're just going to be getting official dedicated servers. I think that's a fine baseline, especially for an early access
we can do
release.
that.
I do hope by the time they leave early access and they have the official release.
And it looks like there's no PvP, so we don't have to really worry about, you know, some horrific level of trolling or anything like that. And also, like, a lot of survival players, when it's not a PvP game, are quite nice. So it's not, you either get like the Rust community, which is like, you know, the toxic a-holes, or you get like the super chill people who just like to build a pagoda or whatever. And that's like the Valheim community was basically like that. And so I'm very, very glad that it seems like they're going the way of the latter. Lemonitis, welcome, my friend. We're showcasing Nightingale, which is an amazing looking new game. Also, there is a giveaway active.
That if they are continuing to move forward with private servers and modding, obviously we would like all of that there by the time they leave early access.
Yeah,
more updates
I have no doubt.
came in March, where they announced that they continue to do more playtest, particularly focused on a new and improved combat system, which the developer said players were happier with. I mean, who knows? I didn't play it, but yeah, apparently the combat got better from what they're saying. And also, this is when they started testing the endgame systems. So we do know that there is going to be endgame of some
Doc, we're just talking about endgame. Yep. Endgame is a weak part of a lot of survival games. So let's see how this one is different.
Sort, although I've yet to see or hear any specifics at any point of what exactly
Never mind,
this
no
entails.
details.
Here they also added a new opening cinematic, and they did briefly share some screenshots taken by a few of their testers. It was also at this point
this isn't
in
an
this
MMO
March update that they announced that they would be targeting a mid-2023 early access release. We are past mid-2023.
That's okay.
That means they didn't hit it. Well, in April came an update where they said they would be pushing back the launch to Q4 2023, so the last quarter of the year, in order to continue working on and improving the game. They ran a test.
Is there some
with about
cool-looking
12,000
monsters?
People. They have been progressively increasing the number of people with every test. So 12,000 people ran in the April alpha test. This ran for about 2 weeks continuously, giving people time to really progress, to play a lot, and to reach and actually start testing the end game. They also made a few game updates. They added workbenches that could be upgraded, so you'd be able to place down specific compatible decorations, and then depending on what you placed, it would create unique traits for your benches, adding buffs and at times even consequences. They added environment.
That's very well. Valheim only adds buffs as far as I know. I never finished Valheim, but yeah, that's still really good. So some buffs and minuses to make each crafting system and crafting area unique and kind of like have them build upon each other. I really like that. I really like that. It adds like a little strategy element to it.
Traits that can buff or debuff benches. So for example, if you build a roof over a bench, it will give it the shelter trait, which lets you refine faster. Or for tool benches, they can get the whetstone trait if you place the proper decoration nearby, and doing this will boost the damage of any bladed tools you happen to craft on that bench. So there's going to be a whole lot of variability and potential enhancements that you can give to whatever particular workbenches are in the game. You know, weapon benches, armor benches, potions, whatever they end up having, there will be some sort of enhancement advancement system for many of these. And they introduced some new creatures here in the April update. The Hexamongrel, the Elephas were both added to the
Oh
desert
my god,
regions.
that's a
The
twisted looking elephant. I love
I
it.
can't pronounce half of these names. Was added to the swamps region, and they added also 3 different new bug type enemies like this dung beetle, grasshopper, and scorpion. So as time goes on, they're just continuing to flesh out the variety of enemies and creatures we'll be seeing in the world.
Another issue with survival games, we were talking about issues with survival games in general, Doc, more than just the end game, is creature variety is a huge problem. Like, one of the biggest issues with 7 Days to Die is it's the same zombies all the time. Now, I like the zombies, totally fine with it, but man, it is just the same shit over and over and over again. And, you know, some games that works, like Zomboid, it completely works because trying to be more realistic. But a game like this, where it's like truly a fantasy realm, very, very happy that they're adding many different varied creature types. It's not just reskins. The other thing that I really dislike is when developers just do reskins. They're like, this is not a red monkey, this is a purple one. And it's slightly stronger because it's purple. And it's like, I don't really count, like, you know, just a color palette change as a variety. That's not really variety to me. So something like this is actually good variety. I like that.
July came around and included another update. They showed some really cool environmental shots. I love some of the skyboxes here. We also get to see that first-person pickaxe climbing. This is actually...
You climb with pickaxes. This is so cool. This reminds me of there was a movie that came out a while ago. It was called Vertical Limit. I think it came out I think when I was like 14 years old or something like that. And it was a movie that took place and I think it was filmed mostly at the actual K2 mountain, which is the second largest mountain in the world. It had a Chris O'Donnell in it. He was like the main hero. And he had to climb with the double pickaxe in the movie. And I don't know why, but I have never seen a double pickaxe climbing in any game ever. So this marks the first time that they ever did that. that I know of. Has any other game ever had double pickaxe climbing? It's so cool. I love the look of it.
Pretty cool. Like, for I don't know why it's not used more often. Just, yeah, pickaxe climbing the side of mountains instead of...
He's so smart, man. This is why I love Force Gaming. He's so smart. Look at this. He agreed with me. He's so smart.
Just trying to, like, Skyrim awkwardly climb, like, the slightly angled terrain. Yeah, just give us a pickaxe and let us...
Yeah, just let us go to town. Yeah.
Cliffs. Sounds great. And then they also added a brand new game starting point called the Nightmare Realm. So this would be the introduction to the story of the game and starting off on sharing some of the lore about it. Also, this is where the intro tutorial is. And they said...
I wonder if they had the hub during this video, because the hub world was the thing that I did not expect at all. And I'll talk about the hub world after this.
This is where you choose your starting
biome.
Kind of interesting that they're letting you just pick what biome you want to spawn into. They also added some difficulty options where you can basically choose your starting loadout as well as the difficulty level per the realm. So you can decide to...
I actually really like that they're letting you choose, because they're trying to basically make it more accessible for you to get certain things. They don't want you to be... It looks like the developers don't want you to be locked out of getting, like, you know, the purple heart herb or whatever that only spawns at night in the hardest mode. You have to, you can work yourself up to that, but once you spawn there, it's, you know, they're making it relatively common to find by making the whole world have that if you need it, kind of thing. And you can change the world at your leisure, you know, if you have the realm cards and such. And that is like a really big thing. I really like how they're doing that.
Start with great gear in an easy zone or with no gear in a very difficult zone. Whatever combination of difficulty settings, there'll be quite a few of them for you to pick from. And also in July, they revealed that they were adding third-person mode. I am pumped. I really like seeing my character in these games. They said
it's a good thing to add as an option. Now, I'll probably play most of the game in first-person mode. The only problem I have with this is if one mode is just better all the time. Like, there's a couple of games where the first-person mode just shows you so little, and you're not able to see hitboxes well enough that you kind of, in combat, had to be in third-person mode the entire time if you wanted to, like, succeed in the game. And that's when it becomes a problem for me. But, you know, hopefully this is just like your leisure, your choice. You can see your character's backpack and cool stuff like that. I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case. That's when they do it right.
The priority will still be first person. This is primarily a first person game,
Good.
but that they wanted to include third person for those who want or need it
The
for
cinematics,
accessibility.
yeah.
Accessibility aside, that is a great reason to do it, but I just like seeing my character in these games, especially when there's
It's cool.
gear and I'm going to be changing how my character looks. I like to be able to see that character, so I'm happy that they've added.
Please have a photo mode in this game. Every single crafting style, survival style game needs a photo mode. Just straight up, you need it. I don't even use it all the time, but just having the option to take really good pictures of my character, my cool base, an item I find, whatever, that is like worth its weight in gold. And honestly, I don't think it takes that many developer resources, but just not a lot of developers think of it. And when they do, I always appreciate having it. Like, even if it's just like a random picture for myself. I don't know. Like, sometimes it's just like one thing I just want to remember, like a particular view or a mountain or an item or a gun or a piece of clothing that I found, or a particular item, or just even like a hard enemy that I fought, and I was just like, man, that was a journey. And it's just something to commemorate it by. I just love having that option without having to like manually take a Windows screenshot and then make it into a PNG and then save it to certain place. Blah, blah. Just let me take a photo mode. Just have a photo mode.
A month later in August, we got the release date trailer, and I gotta say, dude, from this trailer alone, the game is looking great.
It's looking good. It's looking really good.
Starts to look better and better, from the visual quality to the animations to the environment and ambient look of everything. Clearly, the shift to Unreal Engine 5 was worth it, because much improved to the earlier gameplay showcases. So in the release date trailer, we saw a bit of—
Oh, no, Doc. So the reason it's not redundant on PC is that a photo mode is something where you can like turn the camera, you can like actually like have it look at your character, things like that. It's not just taking a screenshot. That's the thing. Like, the photo mode actually lets you, you know, manipulate the camera. That's the real big key about photo mode. That's what I mean.
Also, just reiterating here, animations with this stuff look really good. We saw some showcases of magic, fishing, crafting, building, and swimming. A bunch of new biomes that we hadn't seen before.
The pumping the hammer so you just shoot all the shots. I love having that move in any game. Oh, it's such a cool move. And it's like, it just feels like such a high skill cap type of thing. Like, it's like, add some actual skill expression. I really hope other weapons have more skill expression as well. This is really, really, really cool.
We saw various weapons and magic in use. We saw some of the expansive building system. We saw this big old giant using magic, and they showed off some new monsters as well as what seemed to be a few different—
I will say the shots here look really fucking bad, and I am very happy to say that in the newest trailer that we just saw, the one that was, you know, 2 days ago as opposed to 5 months ago, they fixed that. That is good. That is really, that also shows more actual, you know, changes in development and positive changes. I like that.
Boss fights. And finally, with the release date trailer, they revealed that it was being delayed again out of 2023 into 2024, specifically coming to early access.
That's fine. Let them cook.
22nd.
Let them cook.
They stick with this one. Although, regardless, as always, fine with delays if it means that the launch product is going to get better. And that's exactly what they address in the most recent and last update, which came in September. So the release delay was done, they say, to make the game as finished as it can possibly be for early access. They want to deliver on players' expectations and have solid foundations that they can then build upon while the game is in early access. They said that even though it is an early access launch, that they are aware that they only get one shot at a public launch, so they want to take the extra time to make the impression a good one.
Dude, so few developers think like that, man. So few developers think like that. Oh my god. You really do only get one launch. If you fuck it up, it's done. Like, you're donezo. It's so rare to get a second chance in gaming to fix a bad launch. Sometimes it happens, but it's just, oh man.
Yes, Yes, they get it.
Yep.
This is the problem. This is my
They
biggest
get it.
issue with so many early access launches. We get these games coming out into early access. They're justified as not feeling complete or not feeling polished enough or not feeling like they have enough features or content as, hey, it's just early access.
Yeah.
And it's true. And we go into early access with the understanding that these games aren't done. But it's also true that you get one first shot. And for a lot of people, if that first shot doesn't have to be complete, but if it's not good enough, they might just never check out your game again. Now, this isn't always the case. You get a game like Baldur's Gate 3 that had an early access launch that lasted 3 years.
To be fair, Baldur's Gate 3's early access launch was really, really good. Like it was like you could only play Act 1. But it was like a really huge one, and they had so much detail in the game to the point that I knew that I shouldn't play it because I wanted to play it at launch and like, you know, it's the full game. But like that early access, I think, was a very unique situation, Baldur's Gate 3. For sure.
Before it finally released, and you might say, well, hey, that's way too long, and people would have had their first impression and then forgot about it, but clearly that's not what happened.
Right.
But Baldur's Gate 3, for a lot of reasons, is an exception and not the rule. And,
yeah. And I think the other issue is that, like, a lot of early access launches, when they're complete abject failures, is when it's like you're just kind of screwed as a game. Like, you have to be at least a little careful when you do an early access launch. You just have to make it good, and you have to at least really respond to people, change things when they need to be changed, and so on and so forth. Functional version. Yeah, exactly, Doc. A lot of early access games are not, or barely even functional at the very, very beginning of the early access, and it's just not worth playing. Completely agreed, Doc. Completely agreed. But, dude, that's the thing. These guys have had, like, Just Force Gaming here in this little wrap-up video, you know, just discussing the development of the game, has talked about, like, at least 4 or 5 different alphas that they had, which is good. That means that they've really been, like, putting in the effort, having, like, you know, small groups of gamers playing the game so they can get real gamer feedback and you know, implement that. With each turn and with each development cycle and stuff, and it's a big thing. It's a big thing.
Many cases,
I think that's why this is looking so good.
Is games coming into early access that aren't done, that are too buggy, that have too little content, or just are outright bad for an early access release.
World of Warcraft retail.
Oh
man,
and forget about.
I wouldn't go that hard.
When the 1.0 version happens, and I feel like it's a real shame that ends up killing off a lot of games that could have had way more potential. Yeah. So I'm happy to hear that Inflection Games, as a studio, is deciding do these delays as much as you need to until you feel like it's really a solid product, even though it's still early access. As close to feeling finished as possible, I think, is a good way to do it. Happy to hear that they made this decision, frankly. Since that developer update in September, we have gotten one additional video. It was this
this is nice
Bench Wonders, like an
I love
ASMR
how this looks.
crafting video, which sounds kind of whatever, but man, it looked really, really good. Although it was focused on the audio side of things and the visual coziness, just again, I'm continuously impressed.
I never saw this.
Show this game, the visuals, the animations, the lighting and environmental effects, everything looks progressively better. And this being the most recent gameplay-focused trailer, it looks about as good as anything has up until this point. I mean, I understand why they call this an ASMR video, because damn, it gives me some real cozy, good vibes. Really happy and really excited to actually get in and get my hands on this. Like I said at the top here, as the development has continued and as we've continued to get updates over these past 2 years, I've been getting progressively more interested and excited about this game. I just think it's really shaping up to be something really, really promising. So I'm so looking forward to Nightingale. Currently, the latest release date of hitting Steam Early Access on February 22nd,
I'll talk about
2024, which puts it roughly 3 months away. That is still in place, and while I hope they hit it, again, I'll reiterate, just make sure the game feels great for that early access launch, because it is your only first impression for a lot of people. That does it for today, though. Thanks as always for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the vid. If any other big updates happen to come out before the February launch, or if there's some early testing that I happen to get my hands on, I'll be sure to keep you updated, because yeah, looking forward to this one.
Me too, Force Gaming. Again, guys, Force Gaming, big good content creator. Always love his videos. I did link it before. I'll link it again. Give it a like, give it a sub. We will definitely be making this into a YouTube video ourselves with our own thoughts. I really do think that Nightingale's development cycle, and him breaking down the development cycle, I followed bits and pieces. Actually, I thought I followed most of it, but there's a lot of stuff that I missed in here. I think it's only a good thing. I think this gives me a better feeling for Nightingale than I already had, and I was already looking very positively on it. So the fact that they're willing to put so much effort into fixing issues and improving everything small and large, from all the way large to the giant swaths of combat changes that they have to do, to like small things like, you know, just more variety of enemy types, and making the crafting just a little simpler here and there. Like, these things are really, really drastic, and just as a whole, and makes a big difference to how someone feels and enjoys the game. And I really think this shows that this is a very, very positive looking game. We'll be playing it tonight, and so we'll be having a lot of fun. I'm excited for Nightingale. And what do you guys think about Nightingale? What does everyone in here think about Nightingale? Because I think it's looking very good. I think it's looking very, very good. And also this video that is just already just the most recent stuff. It looks fantastic. And also, so the other thing that I brought up was Force Gaming at this time did not have access or any discussion about the hub world. So it looks like after this is when the developers added the hub world. Now, the hub world not only adds endgame, it adds these like 6-player dungeons, up to 6-player dungeons they can do with like other actual people playing the game. It also adds a level of interactability. So the fact that people can talk to each other, share items, trade, and show off their character, just something so simple as showing off your character, it makes a big difference for a game like this. I really wish a lot more survival games and survival crafting games and such would really, really implement this more. I know it's complicated. I know it's like hard to do, but I really appreciate that Nightingale is doing that, because that adds like a level of social aspect of the game that is missing in a lot of these games. And it's an optional thing. You don't have to go to this hub world. You don't have to trade. You don't have to show off your character or anything like that. But a lot of people want to. And it looks like in this game, in a very good way, looks matter in terms of you can really like have a different cool looking hat on your character. And I don't know about you, but I like putting cool hats on my characters, guys. And I love showing them off. So it's good to have it to be able to show it to someone as well. You know, it's a very, very nice thing. Walking around, one of my favorite parts of World of Warcraft is walking around Stormwind all the time and just looking at the items people had and like the gear and like how they looked, and going pure fashion souls on it and stuff. And I think that's a really, really, really good thing. Now, no one has said if there's transmog in the game. Like, if you have a cool looking hat and it doesn't have the stats you want, can you put the good stats on the cool looking hat? I hope so. We'll see if it works. We'll see if that happens. But definitely, I'm hoping that there's transmog. I feel like if they're doing the shared hub world where you can specifically show off your character's looks and stuff, I would hope that there would be transmog at that point. But we'll see. That is definitely something to look into tomorrow.